I first stepped foot in the gym about 15 years ago, as skinny as it gets, as virgin as it gets, and as clueless as it gets, as many of us do. So that's almost 15 years on the dot of practicing some form of fitness, and even though I should have reached my biological potential years ago, I'm stuck at what I consider to be a 2 or 3 year intermediate body. Why is that? Exactly this matter I'm gonna analyze in today's video, so that you can avoid what I did wrong, do what's better, and achieve greater results in less time. So without further ado, these are the 7 most important mistakes that I did in my career of lifting weights and that set me back over 10 plus years. So avoid these in order to get fit the smart way. The first mistake, I thought that everything is similarly important. It's not. In my first year of fitness, or should I say in my first year of going to the gym, I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose with zero idea and zero filter to aid me in considering which information should I apply, which should I ignore, should I buy all the supplements, some supplements, or none? Should I only focus on Bosu ball, dumbbell curls with a weighted vest and electroshocks to confuse my body and engage muscle growth? Basically now I'm using too many words to say that I was freaking clueless. And it showed. I was lost in the pursuit of the perfect golden recipe to get buff. But the naked truth is that in fitness and nutrition, as in life in general, there is a scale of importance. In my personal opinion, Eric Helms put it best in his seminal books, The Muscle and Strength Pyramid Nutrition and The Muscle and Strength Pyramid Training, illustrating the main priorities that everyone should take into consideration in the form of 2 pyramids. If you don't know how pyramids tend to work, basically what's at the bottom is the most important and what's at the top is the least important. So for some of you this hierarchy of importance will be surprising, and for some of you it won't. Nonetheless, in the moment that I've laid my eyes on them, everything became clear, the fog lifted, I saw a clearer, more predictable path to success, and adopting them as gospel, especially at the beginning, it's a great move in my opinion. If you take into consideration only this first step from all the steps in this video, you're gonna be set on your way to a much better path to the body that you desire. Second mistake, I was program/routine hopping. In life, when we don't see the results that we desire, when we only feel the fatigue of practice, the natural tendency is to run away from what we dislike and to engage in the search of a shinier object, a brighter path. We look for what's more promising, with less effort and less pain. And sometimes that's the right move, but most often than not, we tend to quit something just when success was around the corner and everything was in vain. We throw everything away just to jump on the next shiny thing. This behavior is so common and popular that it has its own name, the shiny object syndrome. In my case, the shiny objects were all the crazy routines out there. Just so you know, at the moment that I'm filming this video, if you type in Google fitness program, it's gonna return over 1.4 billion results. That's billion with a B, number weirdly close to the population of India. So it's easy to see that searching for the right path is a daunting task. In my first years of fitness, I was an avid practitioner of this program hopping phenomenon, and what I've finally discovered was something shockingly simple. The fact that if you stick even with the most basic fitness routine and the most plain, no thrills nutritional program for long enough, consistently enough, you are gonna see more better results than if you program hop and try that routine, that nutritional program, that miracle supplement. So just choose one approach and stick to it until you plateau or are really fatigued and fed up with that approach, that being the first moment when you should think of changing something. Because even if these fitness influencers are extreme, enjoyment plays a huge role in adherence. Mistake number 3, I had unrealistic expectations. At the age of 15-16 years old, my dream body was embodied by Ryan Reynolds in the movie Blade. We could say that this body was part of the holy trinity of aspirational physiques, alongside Brad Pitt in Troy or Fight Club, and Ryan Gosling's in Crazy Stupid Love. And don't get me wrong, These are really achievable standards for most of us that we could achieve in 1 to 2 years of rigorous training and correct nutrition. All of them except Ryan Reynolds' physique in Blade, that I have my doubts was achieved naturally. Because you see, something that is not overly promoted is that most celebrities' physiques that we see on the big screen at Hollywood, on magazine covers, on Instagram, are not possible naturally. Most of them use some form of PEDs. And it's somehow normal because that's their job to look good on screen, but that's not the case for 99% of the population, so it's simply not smart to set these kind of goals. The smart way would be to focus on goals set only based on your physique, your limitations, your genetics. Set measurable goals such as I want to have a ratio of 2 to 1 between the width of my shoulders and that of my waist, or I want to do 10 reps with X weight, and only compare with yourself yesterday. Did I make progress? Did I stick with the routine? Am I looking better? If the answer is yes, 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 you are on the right path. Don't compare yourself with someone else because you don't know their circumstances, because genetics are a hugely important factor in the physique that you're gonna be able to achieve, and you don't know if they're using some external help. Mistake number 4, I wasn't tracking in general. There is a saying that I like: you can't grow what you don't measure. If you have to walk, let's say 10 kilometers, you need to know where you're at a certain point in time in order to figure out how much do you have left to walk. Businesses also rely on tracking. If your financial goal is to reach 10 million euros in revenue for your business, you need to know how much revenue have you generated in June in order to know if you're on track to achieve that number on December, right? Maybe you need to promote more. Or maybe you're even ahead of schedule. The principle strongly applies in fitness too. I'm really surprised to see how few gym goers actually track their performance in the gym. Now you may say to the screen, Raresh, you're ridiculous. I don't have Alzheimer's. I know how much have I lifted last workout. And I would say, okay, fair play. But do you remember how much have you lifted 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 6 months ago? But why is that important? It's crucially important to know that you're progressing, because a very important element in your progress is something called progressive overload. You have to put your muscle groups under a continuous progressive stress in order to stimulate them to grow. If no tracking is involved, it's similarly to shooting darts at a target in the dark. Sure, you're gonna hit some of them, but most of them are gonna fail to hit the target. And this also applies to nutrition. As a beginner, I can say with a hefty degree of certainty that you're most likely under or overestimating the calories that you eat and also the calories that you burn. So in both cases, training and nutrition, I strongly encourage you to start and track at least these 3 metrics. Lifting performance, I mean reps, weight on the bar, how heavy it felt or how light, caloric intake, and protein intake. Mistake number 5, I've prioritized ego lifting instead of lifting for growth. Now, this is a big one. If you gave me a time machine that I could use only fitness-wise, I would certainly have as my first destination my first years of fitness, maybe even my first month of fitness, and I would say to myself, Raresh, listen carefully. If you're not prioritizing proper execution, clean form, you're gonna regret it for the rest of your damn life. The reason why I say that might find you on a different point in the scale between nerd problems and I feel you, in accordance with your fitness level and age. So if you don't know what it means, ego lifting means trying to lift more weight and do more reps that you are actually capable of at that moment in time by compromising form or fatiguing your spotter. When you are young, inexperienced, fresh, elastic, sacrificing proper form for a couple of reps extra seems a good idea. After all, you enjoy your newbie gains, you're also efficient time-wise because your spotter is training as hard as you do. And while your ego far outgrows your muscle gains, everything is dandy. But at the end of this colorful rainbow, a few years in the gym, a magical but feared chest awaits you with a treasure. A treasure trove filled with amazing things like bad joints, backaches, horrifying posture, and imminent injuries. Now it's your decision if you're gonna enjoy the slide on the rainbow until you hit that treasure trove with amazing stuff in it, or you're gonna embark in a smarter journey with even better progress and even lower chances of damaging your body and regret it for the rest of your 30s, 40s, 50s, and so on. Now, if you watched until this point, it's fair to assume that you've gained some kind of value from this video, so I would strongly appreciate it if you'd hit the like button and maybe you consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more videos like this. Now back to the video. Number 6. I overly estimated the complexity of building muscle and losing weight. Building the amount of muscle you want, it's simple. Not easy, but certainly is not complicated. But you may think otherwise. You may think otherwise because the fitness industry relies on confusing you. Because if you're confused, you're gonna buy all the supplements, all the contraptions, all the programs in order to fix that imaginable issue. But we're not gonna just willingly join the herd. As evidence, you're watching this video right now. The cold truth is that you don't need 99% of the supplements, programs, or contraptions. All those gazillion supplements either have zero effect or some effect that is simply not worth the amount of money that you're paying for them. In reality, sticking to the bases illustrated by the pyramids aforementioned, thanks Eric again, will bring 90% of the results, the rest contributing a measly 10%. Now, this is not exact science, so take these percentages with a grain of salt. The conclusion is that your safest bet is to focus on the fundamentals and ignore the rest, at least at the beginning. When you're more advanced, you may give some attention to the rest in order to gain that 1 or 2% in muscle mass, strength, or weight loss. And mistake number 7, the last one, I thought that being fit is gonna fix all my problems and shortcomings. As everything in life, there's no silver bullet that will solve all of our problems. Money will not solve all of your problems, but it will solve the money problems. Having your right partner on your side is not gonna solve all your problems, but it's gonna solve your loneliness problems and romantic ones. And so, as you may have guessed, being fit is not gonna solve all your problems, but for sure having a fit and healthy body is a goal 100% worth pursuing, because it will bleed in all the areas of your life. You will be more confident, thus increasing your chances of finding the right partner, of getting that raise. You will be more energetic, thus engaging in a fun and productive lifestyle, so that when you're gonna be 50, 60, 70 years old, you're gonna enjoy your life, you're gonna play with your grandkids, ride a motorcycle, travel around the world, or whatever goal you might have. This is exactly the reason that I started to create content and post it online, because I wanted as many of you possible to reach and to convince you to try at least to become fit, to experience these benefits for yourself. So the inevitable has come, the end of what is my first video on YouTube in English. I know that maybe it's not the best, my English is not the best also, but I can make you a promise, and that is that I'm gonna try to make these videos as best as I can, and I aim for a progressive overload on video editing, on scripting, and on everything else also. I can't really say how much I appreciate the fact that you've took some minutes from your life in order to watch this video, and I truly hope that you gain some kind of value that you could apply in your life in order to truly progress toward your dream body. This was the video, I am Radesh, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.